So today I am going to talk to you about payments and how to take payment for your various different services that you're going to create. I have been asked a couple of times various questions about payments and the easiest way in order to use them. So in this video I'll go through what I use. Now I've been in business for 7 years and I find that these solutions work for me. So I don't profess to be a billing expert. I'm sure there's other ways of doing things that work perfectly well. And if you have other things that you use and you really like, then please do comment and let me know what they are. We all learn together, and there's so many different ways of doing this that it's nice to kind of share our knowledge. So this is what I use. So PayPal is a big one, especially in the UK. I think people kind of expect to be able to pay by PayPal. I read a fact saying that 16% of customers leave the cart and don't purchase if they don't find the payment method there that they want to use. And that's the reason really that I use PayPal, is because it's expected. People just know how it works and kind of expect to have that option. The bad thing about PayPal is that it does charge higher fees. So if you were creating an event, for example, you could use Eventbrite to create your event, and then people pay by your PayPal account, and that is the easiest way in order to get paid for something online. I use this with my online courses. So if people sign up to one of my online courses, they will be given the option of PayPal. But I don't use it if I am using sort of recurring payments or payments for my one-to-one services, clients, those kinds of things. I don't use PayPal because it is more expensive. So I have another system called Stripe, which I use. Now Stripe was developed for developers, so there are certain elements of it that I find really easy to use, but there's certain elements I don't use because it gets a little bit codey, if that's a word. So it's incredibly good for everything that you want to do, and if you have a website developer, then they will be able to use a lot more of Stripe because they can put all the codes in and stuff like that. But I am not a coder, so I find Stripe, there's certain elements of Stripe which are really easy, which I do use, but I don't use it to its potential because I'm not a coder. But it does have lower fees, so it's cheaper for you, and they don't take as higher fees on your payments than PayPal. So that is why I use Stripe. So I have a accounting software that I use. I use Xero as my accounting software. I've used it for about a year now, and I find it really good for keeping all your money in one place and keeping track of all of your money. And then at the end of the year, it's really good for then submitting your returns to the HMRC because it's already there and it's already in one place. So I really enjoy using Xero. The one thing that I use it for is invoicing. So I do corporate workshops, and after I've done a workshop each month, I invoice for that work. And Xero is a great way to do that. I just go in, set up an invoice, I send that invoice to somebody. And you have two things you can do on Xero. You can either give your BACS details, so they pay you by your BACS account, by your bank account, or you can set up online payments and then people can get out the card and pay online. So Xero is linked to my Stripe account, and that bit is really easy. So people can get an invoice from me, which I've set up in my Xero, and then they pay me via my Stripe account, and that's really easy. So that's great if you've got things that you invoice for particularly, then that's a great method to do that. As I mentioned, for my online courses, for my online things, I use Thinkific as my course platform. Now this, what you're seeing here, is a checkout screen from my Thinkific account. So if somebody went online and wanted to buy this particular course, this effective online sessions using Zoom, then as you can see here, they get two options. They get purchased by credit card, and if they do that, that goes through my Stripe account, and that's another thing that's really easy to set up. Or they get to pay by PayPal, which is here as well. So it gives them two options in terms of payments. Now you could have just the PayPal option if you wanted, but again you're paying the higher fees. Or you could just have the Stripe option if you wanted, but you might lose people because they can't pay by PayPal. So it's completely up to you what you want to use. If you have Thinkific, then the way that you set this up is in integrations. You go into integrations and set up both your Stripe account and your PayPal account, and then this is what you see. So that's quite simple. So the final thing that I do is recurring payments. So if somebody signs up to my one-to-one program, then they pay me a monthly recurring fee for so many months. Now I could use Stripe to do that. Stripe does do that, but as I said, it's quite techy and I struggle to kind of set it up. So I have a system called Moonclerk. Here it is, and you set up forms in Moonclerk. Now, Moonclerk pay a monthly fee, but the forms are so easy to set up and they look really good. And you can send somebody this in Moonclerk, and then Moonclerk is linked to my Stripe account. So then they can set it up and then it goes through to my Stripe account. So you get the lesser fees, but then you're paying for Moonclerk. So depends on ease of use versus payments and outgoings really, and depends on what setup you're going to use. So I'll give you an example. I did this for my Blueprint webinar because people could do a donation. So if I preview this, as you can see, you get to put your logo in, a bit of a blurb about what it is, an amount, full name, and etc. So they can set that up, and it looks really good. It's really simple as well. So I do like this. So what I did with this is I have an event on Eventbrite, and when you click to pay, it comes through to this particular form on my Moonclerk, and then you put in your amount that you want, and then Moonclerk's connected to my Stripe account, so it goes through my Stripe account for the lower fees than the PayPal. And also the Stripe, it's not just about lower fees, but also Stripe enables purchasing from all the countries in the world, so it's incredibly diverse in terms of what it can do, and it allows you to be able to offer things in more currencies, so people could pay in their own currency. So that's another reason why Stripe's really good as well. So I hope that has given you a few options in terms of what you might want to create and what you might want to set up and use for your business. I do think it is a decision in terms of ease of use versus cost. And I'd be really interested to hear if you use something else and you find that really good, because sharing knowledge and learning about new stuff is really good. And like I said, I don't necessarily profess to have this all sorted, but I do know that customers can pay me and I find it really simple. So there you go. I hope that's helped.